Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good morning, students. This will be our first video discussion for our subject SSC2 Teaching Social Studies in Elementary Grades, Culture and Geography. So this is your instructor, Mr. Phoebe Michael A. Nodalo. It's very sad to inform you that I cannot met you this morning because there is a conflict regarding about my schedule. So I am making this video presentation, video discussion, just to even though I am not physically, uh, I cannot physically met you with our session this morning. I can still impart my supposed to be my discussion for our session this morning. So we are done already. So this subject is a continuation for your SCC 1. So teaching social studies in elementary grades, Philippine history and geography. So SSC2 will be focusing on the aspect of culture and geography, and of course these are considered to be a very important branches of social science. And uh, when you are teaching Araling Panlipunan, no, it will be helpful for you as future elementary educators for your pupils. So the content of my discussion this morning will be focusing on the overview regarding about the branches of social science, geography, and of course the definitions and the significance of culture. So I know that you already encountered this one. If you are taking up senior high school subjects, so you have this subject, no, uh, in your senior high school, you UCSP, no, understanding culture, society, and politics, and part of your discussion in your UCSP, no, you talk about the importance of culture, the definition of culture, and maybe it was introduced by your teacher before the two types of culture. And then, so we will also, I will also introducing to you the teaching culture. So how to introduce, no, how we are going to teach to our pupils, especially topics that are related to culture and geography, especially in the elementary grades, no, from kinder to K6. So, overview of culture and geography. So, I will give you an overview regarding about culture and geography. So, culture. So, what do you mean by the word culture? So, maybe the very easy definition that we can associate when we are talking about culture. So, maybe some of you will tell me that culture is a way of life. Yes, basically that is correct. But I have here another definition. When we talk about culture, culture is a complex cluster of knowledge, beliefs, arts, and laws. So it also focuses on the morality and other humans as part of the society. So we have a very perfect definition of the word culture. It is a complex cluster of knowledge, no, and of course beliefs. It could be related to spiritual aspect or maybe with religion. Culture is also part, or it can be associated with the arts, no, of the human beings, of the people, and the creation of laws or norms, no, the norms, and in morality. So that is according to A.B. Taylor, 1871. Excuse me. Okay, functions of culture. So, what are the different functions of culture? So, the culture, no, one of the functions of culture, it acts as a physical and social survival mechanism for humans. So, meron tayong kultura dahil mahalaga ito, no? it is considered to be a physical and social survival mechanism for humans. That is why we are having our own culture. We are practicing our own culture na namana natin sa ating mga kaninunuan. Na kung saan ito ay there are times that it will be passed to generations na ipapasa ito sa mga henerasyon kaya nagpapatuloy ang mga nakaugaliang bahagi ng kultura, bahagi ng tradisyon. So that is considered to be physical. We have culture because it will act as a physical social survival mechanism for humans. Then number two, one of the functions of culture, it helps people to adapt the demands of the environment. So we are one of the functions of culture. So ito ay tutulong sa mga tao on how to adapt the demands. Yung ano yung mga pagbabago, no, yung mga pagbabago na meron sa or environment sa kanyang surroundings, no, kailangan makiangkop, no, kailangan matuto ang mga tao na makibagay, no, the human being should know how to adapt if there are demands or changes in our environment just to continue to survive. Okay. Then bahagi din po ng functions of culture, it compensates for some limitations for humans. So, it compensates for some limitation of human. Of course, human as we are, meron tayong mga limitations na hindi natin pwedeng magawa. But with culture, no, ito ay makadagdag, no, ito ay makatutulong para makompensate yung mga kakulangan na pwedeng gawin ng isang tao natin, mga tao. Okay. Then, part of culture, no, part of the functions of culture, it helps understand the different aspects of human behavior. So, mahalaga talaga na pag-aralan natin ang kultura. No, it's very important for us to study culture because it helps us to understand the different aspects of human behavior. Alam naman po natin na may mga iba't ibang katangian, no, may mga iba't ibang behavior ang mga tao. So sa pamamagitan ng pag-aaral ng mga iba't ibang kultura, dito natin malalaman kung bakit nagkakaroon ng iba't ibang aspeto ng behavior ang mga tao, no? Then we have here characteristics of culture. Maybe some of you are familiar with this one because if this is included with your discussion before during your senior high school in your UCSP. So siguro may mga ilan sa inyo ang nakaalala na naging bahagi ito ng inyong talakayan. So of course, culture is learned. So culture is learned. Bakit matutunan po natin ang kultura? Why is it that culture is learned? Yes, culture is learned. Unlike biological traits, culture is not inherited genetically, but it is transmitted through social interaction, observation, and communication. So mahalaga talaga na there is always a process of socialization, no? We should socialize, no? We should socialize. We should interact. Kasi may mga bagay-bagay na matutunan po natin, no, at ito ay dito natin makikita na ang kultura ay matutunan, no? Culture can be learned. So from birth, individuals absorb cultural values, norms, traditions, and behaviors from their families, communities, and environments. So this process is known as enculturation. So enculturation is how people learn to function with their society and adapt its unique ways of thinking, acting, and relating to others. So, kaya nga, paano nga ba matutunan po natin ang kultura? So through socializations, no? Of course. So yung daily interaction po natin sa mga members sa ating society, sa ating community, sa inyong mga classmates, with your teachers. So that is a very important experience that we can say that culture can be learned through socialization. Culture can be learned because, of course, with the language, no, as a medium. So, with the use of language, mahalaga talaga ang ginagampan ng papel ng language sa central role in passing culture as it carries traditions, beliefs, and knowledge. And of course, culture can be learned by observation and imitation. So, formal education, literature, art, and modern media also shape cultural understanding and transmission. And culture is learned also by continuous process. So, continuous process po yan habang tayo ay nabubuhay, no, patuloy na meron tayong pagkatuto. So, learning always happens, especially in learning about culture. So, it is a continuous process. Learning culture is not limited to childhood. It continues throughout life as individual encounters new ideas, practices, or society. So, that is why culture is learned. Okay. Culture is shared. So, paano ba natin masabi that culture is shared? So, anyone? Yes, culture is shared because part of one of the defining characteristics of culture that is not specific to an individual but rather a collective phenomenon. So, it is created, maintained, and transmitted with a group of people forming a common framework of values, beliefs, and of course, the customs and practices shared by the members. This shared aspect of culture fosters social cohesion and sense of identity. So kapag ito ay napapasa, no, ang kultura ay of course it is passed by the members of the community. That is why culture is shared. So paano nga ba, no, paano nga ba na ang kultura ay napapasa? It could be through social groups, no? So, through social groups, culture is shared with the members of the families, with the members of the organizations in the communities, no? And culture is shared also through symbols and language. So, if there are shared symbols such as language, yung gestures po, no? Yung mga gestures po natin, yung mga rituals, art, it allows people to communicate, it allows people to have cultural ideas and meanings effectively, no? Excuse me. Then culture is also shared through traditions and practices. So, for example, if we have festivals, ceremonies, and daily practices, are ways through which culture is collectively experienced and passed down. So, culture is also shared through norms and values. So, what do you mean by norms? So, norms, when we talk about norms, it means that okay. Norms are shared roles, expectation, or the standards that regulates the action of the people. So these are shared roles, expectations, or standards of behavior that regulates or that guides the action of the people. So they are very essential component of culture helping to maintain social order and cohesion by establishing what is considered an appropriate or inappropriate in a given group of society. Okay. So, and then, culture is shared by collective identity. So, by sharing culture, individuals connect with others, developing a collective identity that distinguishes their groups from others. And culture is shared by intergenerational transmission. Culture is shared across generations, ensuring its continuity through education, storytelling. So yung mga napapasa po na mga storya, no, from generation to generation, yung mga maikling kwento, no, that is considered to be also a part of culture that is shared. Intergenerational transmission. So, in what way that culture is transmitted? So, in what way that culture is transmitted? Yes. So, ang culture po ay it will be transmitted, no? Culture is transmitted. Cultural transmission refers to the process by which cultural values, beliefs, knowledge, traditions, and behaviors are passed from generation to the next generation or shared among the members of the society. This transmission ensures the continuity and survival of the culture over time, while also allowing for adaptation and evolution of culture. So, how can culture be transmitted? So, it could be through intergenerational transmission, as what I already talked about, no, in about the intergenerational transmission. So, we talk about intergenerational transmission. So, culture is primarily passed from older generation to the younger ones through parenting, education, storytelling, and rituals. So, example of intergenerational transmission. So, teaching children language, religious practices, or family tradition. So, yan po ay tinatawag po natin po yan na intergenerational transmission. So, in that way, culture can be transmitted. Then, another way that the culture can be transmitted is through language as a tool. So language, we all know that language is a very critical medium for transmitting culture. So when we talk about language, it encodes knowledge, history, and values, enabling communication and preservation of cultural identity. So example of language as a tool on how can we pass culture as transmitted. Example, yung mga oral traditions po natin, yung mga literatures po natin, at idiomatic expressions. So these are language as a tool that one of the key aspect, how can we transmit culture? No, transmission of culture happens. So we can transmit culture through observation and imitation. So individuals learn culture by observing and imitating the behaviors, norms, and practices of others in their respective social group. So examples of observation and imitation, learning to greet with elders respectfully by watching how others do it. So that is why, especially yung mga bata, kailangan talaga na yung mga bata kasi they are considered to be a great imitators sa sa ating ginagawa. Kailangan magpakita tayo ng magandang ehemplo dahil pwede itong gayahin ng mga bata. Yung ating mga ginagawa, pwede itong imitate ng mga bata. That is why, especially for the children, kailangan nating ipakita sa ating mga kilos yung mga magandang bagay at magandang gawain, no? Di yung mga negative. So example for this situation through observation and imitation. So yung mga bata natutunan nilang magmanupo because they imitate that one, no? They learn that one because nakikita nila ito palagi na ginagawa ng kanilang mga magulang. Excuse me. Okay. Culture is transmitted through educational and social institution. So with with a institution like schools. Alam naman natin ang schools, no? This is an avenue for learning and education. We have religious organizations and other very important institutions, and these institutions play a significant roles in transmitting cultural knowledge and values. So, there will be a transmission of culture through education and other important social institutions that exist in our society. So, example of transmission of culture through education and social institution, learning national history in schools or moral values in religious teachings. So, yan po ay matutunan po yan ng mga bata through education in schools or other important social institutions that exist in our society. Then, there will be a transmission of culture through media and technology. So, bahagi po yan. No? Bahagi po talaga yan ng transmission of culture na through media and technology. So, modern forms of communications like books. So, yung mga books ngayon, mga e-books na, no? Yung mga e-books na. Television and the internet have expanded the ways culture is transmitted even across geographical boundaries. So example, that culture can be transmitted through media and technology, through learning about global traditions, through documentaries or social media. So we can learn about global traditions by watching documentaries in the internet, in the YouTube, or any social media platforms. So, culture is transmitted through enculturation and socialization. So, as what I said, that culture can be transmitted through enculturation. So, when we talk about enculturation refers to how individuals internalize their own culture during their childhood, while socialization refers to continuous continuous to transmit culture throughout life. So, yan po ang kaibahan ng enculturation. So, you internalize that one because you already practice that one from your childhood up to this present. So, we call that one the process of enculturation. While the socialization, you continue to learn. You continue to transmit culture because of your experience in day-to-day life activities. So, example of culture is transmitted through enculturation and socialization. Example for that, adapting to a workplace culture or a new societal context. So, those are the ways how the culture can be transmitted. Okay, culture is cumulative. So, when we talk about culture is cumulative, so what do you mean by that? Anyone? Okay, culture is cumulative. This means that culture builds upon itself over time as knowledge, practices, and innovations are passed from one generation to the next generation. So each generation contributes new ideas, technologies, and experience which become part of the cultural fabric. This cumulative nature allows culture to evolve and adapt to changing environment and circumstances. So that is the meaning of culture is cumulative. Then we have culture is essential. So why is it that culture is considered to be an essential part? Yes, so culture is essential because it plays a fundamental role in shaping the human life, behavior, and the society. It provides the framework through which individuals understand their world, interact with others, and establish their own self-identity. So, without culture, we cannot do that one. So, yan po ang kahalagahan kung bakit we always believe that culture is very essential. Okay, two components. What are the two components of culture? Anyone? Okay, we have the material culture and the non-material culture. So when we talk about material culture, material culture, these are things that people produce and use. So ito yung mga bagay na ginagawa ng mga tao at ito yung ginagamit natin sa pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay. So, these are physical objects, resources, and space that people use to define their own culture. So, and take note that these are tangible items. So, ito ay makikita po natin sa ating paligid. No, we can sense this one or we can use this one. No, we can identify this one using our own senses na meron ang isang tao. Sorry. Excuse me. Okay. So, material culture, through this, we may know about people's way of living. So, example of material culture, the tools that we use, the clothing that we use, the musical instrument na meron tayo. For these tangible items na ginagamit po ng tao, no, as part of our culture, it reflects the values, beliefs, and history and practice of a society. Material culture includes everything that is created, used, and valued in a cultural context from every tools to monumental architecture. So examples of material culture, we have artifacts, technology, building structures, clothing and adornments, food and utensils, art and entertainment, infrastructures. No, these are some of the part of the material culture. Okay, so take note with that. Then, okay, so these are some of the examples of material culture. So as you can see, museum. Okay. Then we have non-material culture. So what do you mean by non-material culture as components of culture? Anyone? So non-material culture consists of norms. Yes. Norms, the patterns of behavior, no? The standards or guidelines that regulates the action and behavior of the people. Then folkways, these are customary rules of conduct. Then we have the laws, these are created and systematized rules created by the government. So non-material culture refers to the intangible aspect of culture, including beliefs, values, norms, symbols, language, and practices that shape people how to live and interact. Unlike material culture, non-material culture consists of non-material culture encompasses the ideas. So, yung mga ideas po and behaviors that influence the society's ways of life. So, kabilang po yan. So, tinatawag po natin non-material culture. So, beliefs, values, no? So, example of beliefs, yung belief in karma, concept of democracy, these are considered to be non-material culture because these are intangible aspects. Values like equality, freedom, respect for elders, norms. So, when we talk about norms, yung mga rules, expectations for behavior in that of course that regulate the actions of the people. So take note that norms are categorized by the following folkways, mores, taboos, and laws. So mayroon kang folkways ka ng mga casual norms like table manners. Kung mayroon kang mores, honesty, taboos ka ng mga prohibited behaviors like yung incest, no? Yung incest, then mayroon kang laws. Of course, these are enforced by people in authority. Then, part of non-material culture, of course, nasa diya ang language, no, yung mga spoken language, sign language, or writing system. Then, part of non-material culture, we have symbols, yung mga example, yung flag symbolizing national pride or handshake symbolizing greeting. Then, part of non-material culture, we have customs and traditions, ideas, knowledge, and social practices. So these are considered to be part of non-material culture. Okay. So values indicates moral guidance, beliefs, ideas people hold about the universe. Yes. So ideas or convictions that people accept as true or real, often related to religion, philosophy, or personal experience. These are beliefs. So language, complex systems of symbols, or these are symbols that used to communicate, used to express ideas, share knowledge, and connect people. Okay. Geography. When we talk about geography as part of our subjects, SCC2, so we are done with culture, so we will focus on geography. So geography is another branches of social science that it is a study of places and the relationship between people and their environment. And geography comes from the Greek word geo, which means earth, and grapheia means writing. So, geography as a branch of social science, it deals with the space and the content of the space through local ecological knowledge. So, take note that geography is study of the earth, physical features, no? Environment, human interactions. It also examines the relationship between the people, the places, and the environment, exploring how natural and human-made system shape and influence the world. So that is included in geography as a branch, very important branch of social science. So scope of geography or branches of geography, we have physical geography, okay? We have the human geography. So we talk about physical geography. So it focuses on the earth structure. So when we talk about physical geography, example for that, when we study how mountains are formed or analyzing weather patterns. So those are included with physical geography. So when we talk about human geography, it studies human political behavior and social aspect. So example of human geography, understanding how urbanization impacts rural areas. So alam naman natin na yung pagkakaroon ng urbanization, so meron po talaga yung impact sa ating mga rural areas yung pag-commercialize, no? Pag-commercialize sa mga farmlands, no? It is converted to commercial establishment. So we can study that one through human geography. Then another scope of geography, we have economic geography. So economic geography studies the resources, how the resources is distributed or the distribution within the country. So then political geography studies the use of power within the country. So geography politics. So of course meron po 'yan. So in terms of geography, meron po 'yang mga political geography, no? How politics involves with the people of that community in connection to geography. Then, urban geography. It studies land use patterns. Yes. Then, anthrogeography. It studies environmental influence to people. So, how environment influenced the life of the people that live in that particular area. Then, another scopes of geography, we have environmental geography. It studies environmental conservation. And cartography, the act of making maps and charts. Yes. So, bahagi po yan sa pag-aaral po natin ng geography. Yes. So, teaching culture, geography in elementary grades. So, there are four main phases in development of understanding culture and geography. So, first, focus on different types of teachers. So, what do you mean by this? In understanding culture and geography, it's very important that we should focus on different types of teachers. So, teachers plays a crucial role in shaping the lives of learners and their methods, the methods that they use in their teaching learning process, and their expertise and the roles can vary significantly. No, then of course it's up to you. So, unsa ni mo pag-introduce ang kini nga topic nga related sa culture and geography. So, if you're a teacher, sa man mo pamaagi, authoritative teacher, facilitator as a teacher, then demonstrator teacher, the one that will delegate the activity to the class, the hybrid teacher. No? So, it's up to the types of teachers that will introduce the topics that are related in culture and geography. So, of course, it's very important that we must focus on the context of teaching. So, mahalaga talaga po 'yan, no? So, focus on the context of teaching in the development of understanding of culture and geography. So, in the context of teaching, teaching is more than just delivering knowledge. It always involves dynamic process on how can you effectively facilitate learning. The context of teaching includes various factors such as environment. So, of course, we need to have conducive environment for our students. The objectives, there should be a clear objectives that you set for your students. The curriculum, teaching methods that you use as part of your introduce when you introduce a lesson, then student diversity and educational philosophies that influence how the teachers delivers their lessons or how students engage with the material. So that is part also of the development of understanding culture and geography. Okay. Excuse me. So when you understand, no, in the development of understanding culture and geography, so we need to focus on teaching, learning, reflecting, a shift away from transmission, reception models. So what do you mean by that? So focus on teaching, learning, reflecting. Excuse me. So in understanding culture and geography, it's very important that we need to have teaching and learning reflection. So it means that it is a process of critically analyzing, and you need to evaluate your own teaching, no practices, students learning, and the overall teaching learning process to identify the strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. So you must have a reflection sa self-reflection as a teacher that allows a teacher to understand how their actions impact students and help them adjust their teaching strategies to better meet the needs of learners. So same tanaw, murag dili siya effective. So you need to have a self-reflection that next time, no, you will try to adjust your activities that kan ba muhaon siya sa needs sa imuhang mga pupils, sa imong mga bata, no? So manang giingon nga self-reflection. Yes. So number 4, offer more complicated models. What do you mean by that? Okay. In teaching araling palipunan, especially culture and geography, so it's very important that we need to discuss more complex and sophisticated models of teaching and learning reflection. We dive into a framework that consider not only the teacher's self-assessment and students' outcome, but also the interaction of multiple elements such as the context, emotional intelligence of our pupils, their learning theories, no, and the broader educational system. These models incorporate theories and perspective from various domains of education to offer a deeper, more approach to reflective practice. So, part gina siya. So, what do you mean by culture-based education? Culture-based education. Anyone? Okay. So, grounding of teaching learning process through culture that are foundation of learner's background. So yan ang definition po ng culture-based education. So, it's more on uh, including the culture, no, in teaching learning process. So, mahalaga talaga na i-incorporate po natin sa ating pagtuturo yung kultura nga nakagisnan ng ating mga learners, no, based on their background. Oh, so you need to integrate. It is an integrational approach, educational approach that you need to integrate the values, the cultural background, the traditions, the practices, and the identities of your students, part of the curriculum, in your teaching strategies, no, and the overall educational environment. So the goal of this educational approach is to create an inclusive, relevant, and engaging learning experience that respects and utilizes the diverse cultural knowledge and perspective of your students or pupils to bring with them. So, yan po ang ibig sabihin ng culture-based education. Merong diversity. No, wala pong mga biases, walang mga discrimination. Especially kung meron kang estudyante na galing sa ethnic group. So, sometimes we feel discriminated, no? Because that is part of their history. If you are the teacher, you need to create a learning environment that is diverse and inclusive for all, na walang ma-discriminate. No? It should be for everyone, that there is a diversity and respect for cultural differences. So it nurtures learners' sense of belongingness, identity, appreciation, and understanding of heritage. So yan po ang ibig sabihin ng culture-based education. So elements of culture-based education, we have language. So recognizing and using the native language mo na naatay sa elementary, no, mother tongue, because we wanted to recognize the importance of native language, no, in the development of their learning. So we utilize yung anong language na ating kinagisnan. Then family and community, involving them in the development of curricula, everyday learning, and leadership. So that is also included as part of the elements of culture-based education as educational approach. No? Then, context. Structuring the school and the classroom in culturally appropriate ways. Yes, so there should be the context part of the culture-based educational approach. Then, the content. Making learning meaningful. Yes, we wanted that learning should be meaningful in the part of the students, in the parts of your pupils. So, relevant through culturally grounded content and assessment. So, dapat yung content ng iyong lesson, it should be culturally, no? Hindi po ito labag sa kanilang kultura nga nakaugalian. So, it should be culturally grounded content so that there will always be a meaningful learning that happens in your discussion. Then, data and accountability, gathering and maintaining data using various methods to ensure students' progress in culturally responsible ways. Yes, so when you gather data and accountability, dapat it should be kwan yun, uh, culturally responsible ways. So, dili ka dapat magpataka o uh, dili ka magpataka o hatag ana, dili ka magpataka o kuan ana niya kay you must be accountable for that as a teacher. So kung na kay mga data from your students, no, you are accountable for that. So you should not share or give that specific data of your pupils nga kanang basta-basta lang. Dapat it should be in a responsible ways. So privacy yun. Privacy dapat. So, what are the concepts of geography teaching? So, spatial. So, when we talk about spatial, space of movement, recognizing that people move from certain spaces. Yes. So, spatial. Then, number two, we have place. So, yun po ang mga concept sa geography. So, bahagi po yan ng mga focus sa pinag-aaralan when you teach geography with your pupils or students. So, place. So, bahagi po ng pag-aaral sa geografiya or geography, yung pagtalakay sa mga iba't ibang lugar, iba't ibang bansa. So, the physical structure and cultural component of certain area. Yes. Then, location. Yes. Yung mga location, starting point of all geographic study. So, location. So, importante po yan na pinagtutuunan ng pansin sa pag-aaral ng geography. No? When you teach geography, so it's very important that alam po ninyo yung absolute location. So it could be the absolute location, identification of place by precise system or relative location, position of place in relation to other place. So meron tayong absolute location and relative location. Yes. So bahagi po yan sa pag-aaral po natin ng geografiya. So, wala siyang absolute location. Absolute. So, 4 degrees, 21 degrees north latitude, 116 degrees, and 121 degrees is longitude. So, latitude, longitude. Oh, di ba? Part po yan sa dapat nating malaman when we are teaching geography. Then, we talk about relative location mo ng west of Pacific Ocean, north of Malaysia, east of Thailand, south of Taiwan. So, that is considered to be relative location. So, you are using north, south, east, west, northwest, southeast. So, relative location po yan. But absolute location, meron na po yung mga degrees. So, we call that one absolute. Oh. So, dapat malaman po ninyo ang ma-locate ninyo ang isang lugar by using absolute location. In using absolute location. Okay. So, another concept of geography teaching, direction. Yes. So, mahalaga po yan. So, second, universal spatial concept. So, it may be absolute direction. So, it could be using cardinal points and relative direction based on how we understand on the maps. So, mo ni siyang absolute direction. So, may yung tag-absolute west of the Pacific Ocean. So, ang Philippines kay west of Pacific Ocean. North of Malaysia. East of Thailand. Then south of Taiwan. So, that's the location of the Philippines. When we talk about relative direction, Philippines is in Asia. Near Indonesia. So, relative na siya. Relative na siya. Then, concepts of geography teaching. Distance. It may be absolute distance measured by standard units and relative distance measured by linear measurements. Okay. Absolute distance. Philippines is 3,068 kilometers away from Japan. So, mo lang iyang absolute distance. Mayroon kang relative distance, Philippines is 3 hours away from Japan. So, mo na ang iyahang absolute distance, relative distance. Then, part of the concept when we teach geography, landscape. So, physical and cultural attributes that distinguish one place to another. So, it may be natural landscape based on setting or cultural landscape based on visible expression. So, bahagi po ng pag-aaral po natin sa geography is landscape. So, yes. So, yung mga physical pictures, yung mga natural landscape like mountains, rivers, forests, deserts, coastlines, ecosystems. So, mga natural landscape po yan. So, yung natural landscape, ito po. But when we talk about cultural landscape, yung mga festivals, those are considered to be cultural landscape. Yung mga festivals na bahagi na po ng kultura ng mga tao na ginagawa ng mga tao in that area. So, methods of teaching culture and geography in elementary grades. So, first, observation method. So, when we teach culture and geography in elementary grades, first method that we can use is observation. So, by having field trips, if it is allowed by your school, very important, especially kung mag-isgot mo mga artifacts, you can visit some local monuments if naa, no? So dindot kayo na. Pero again, lang yun ka na naiuban yun dili mo sugot kay because of some incidents happens, no? Pero kung musugot, nalay proper communications. So dindot po ng activity ka ng field trips with your students or with your pupils. Then, project methods. So, yung mga exhibits, yes. No, magkakaroon ng exhibits, magkakaroon ng mga stage play, and creating models. So, tawag po dyan project method. It is applicable? Yes, it is very applicable. No? Yung ginawa po ninyo sa Rizal, yes. Yung magkakaroon kayo ng video recording, video presentation about the life of Rizal. Yes, that is also a example of project methods or making exhibits. Regional method like natural environment, human adaptation, and cultural base. ICT method, yes, ito yung ginagamit natin ngayon. So by watching videos online as part of our lesson, or we can have statistical data or viewpoints. Okay, so that would be all. So thank you so much and God bless everyone.